Hello everyone and welcome once again to Final Fantasy Crystal Legend, an original Pathfinder adventure inspired by the lore of the Final Fantasy franchise. My name is Neil at theLimitBreak and I come to you today hat in hand with some dreadful news. You may notice as you were clicking on the link today to watch this video that this is both episode 7 and 8. It is actually just episode 8. I am here to summarize episode 7 for you, and the reason being is because I, in my infinite jackassery, did not capture the audio for anybody's voice in episode 7 except for mine. I do playing on Twitch. I do Twitch streaming, and my settings for OBS is different from Twitch streaming and from recording the podcasts that we do here, and I just didn't end up changing any of my settings over. So this is my fault, and I apologize to you. If there's one thing that we can say, thankfully, is that you didn't miss a whole lot in terms of the plot line. The episode 7 was a combat-centric episode. The team enters into the Ronko Ruins. The first room that they enter just has a door, and also off to the side a statue of the god Leviathan with various pressure plates and panels to be stepped on. Mihgo investigates this for a little bit and then decides that she doesn't want to run the risk of alerting anybody that the team is skulking about in the event that she fails whatever this puzzle is. So the team enters the front door and are immediately greeted by a gelatinous cube and 3 humanoid zombies. The entirety of episode 7 was the team defeating those creatures, and they were successful in doing so. If you are somebody who enjoys the combat section of our recordings, once again, I do apologize. But that's where we left off with the team. The next doorway that they've been staring at has a good amount of quicksand in front of it as a result of this place being uninhabited and sort of dredged out over the course of so many years uninhabited by anybody except the damned. So that's what the team's going to be doing now. They are going to be investigating the next room, and so we will move forward with episode 8, Darkness Rises Part 2. If you are enjoying this series, we thank you very much for continuing to join us. As of my recording this message to you, we are several episodes in advance, and we are going to be doing our best to upload those episodes as quickly and as often as we can. I try to get up one a week. The day of the week is a little bit wonky. I have 2 jobs, not including any streaming that I do, so it's really... It's tough to get it all done. But I'm confident that you are going to continue to enjoy the show if you're enjoying it. We get better with every playthrough that we do it. I've mentioned before that this is my first ever long-term role-playing game campaign as a game master. So I have a lot to learn. Our players are new as well. One of our players is a beginner to the entirety of role-playing games for the most part. So it's been a fun learning experience, and we're happy to upload them, and we're happy that you are joining us on this excursion. Thank you for joining us once again, and enjoy Episode 8, Darkness Rises Part 2.
Let's go kill some things. Preferably not each other.
Ideally.
Hi! Welcome to the Limit Break.
Hey!
This is, what are we doing today? We're doing Final Fantasy Crystal Legend. It is an original Pathfinder adventure inspired by the lore of the Final Fantasy franchise. My name is Neil at the Limit Break, and I am your game master, and I am once again joined by my very good friends in the top right-hand corner, Mihgo, servant to Alexander, god of valor. In the bottom left-hand corner, Captain Montigue, swashbuckling sky pirate extraordinaire. And in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, Gillian, Dark Knight from Burmecia, hailing from Burmecia of the Chaos Continent. Although she herself is a Half-Guado, which you can see now in the center of your screen. And I'm not married to it being there, but I'm happy with the way that it looks. Now you can see just a little summary of everybody's stats and whatnot. So if you want to know, it's got a little picture. So if you need some help being taken there to the theater of your mind, you've got that. I made a video earlier today explaining the sound problems for episode 7, and I apologize for the sound problems for episode 7. We are moving on. We are just...
By problems, we mean non-existent audio.
I know by non-existent audio, and I take full responsibility for that. But we are fixed now, and we are ready to go on this adventure. We hope you are ready to go on this adventure with us. When last we saw the team, they had ventured into the Ronko Ruins, a scary, scary dungeon. Made mostly from the bones of extinct giant mammalia from the water nearby, from the Great Sea. A series of bone structures that have been coagulated and coalesced into one large facility, which was able to house a small hamlet. And but everybody who was in there, that hamlet that was there before, is not there any longer. They've been dead for generations. And the place is now overrun, as far as everybody has seen, by the undead. Our team, after investigating the first room and some pressure panels, entered into the second room, which was a very large general commons area. I think I described it as sort of the gymnasium, if you will, the multi-purpose room, as we called it. And it's got a dining area, and they were able to slay a ooze, right? A gelatinous cube.
Yeah, gelatinous cube.
And some zombies. I did not mention in the previous game that when they killed these zombies, they also turned into fireflies, much in the same way the imps that they had killed in the Zero Ruin mines did. There is a connection, clearly, between the imps that were killed in Zero Ruin and the zombies that were killed here in Ronko. We have left our heroes still in this multi-purpose room, staring into the maw of a quicksand pool that has created itself over the generations of this structure being here. And we continue on with our adventure. Welcome to Episode 8, Darkness Rises, Part 2.
I would like to start by saying, Key, do you have any heals?
Wait, is my Selkie in need of heal? And of course, I'm more than excited to be like, heals. And we'll run over and use my, if I can find to the rolly thing, there's where the rolly thing is. But I will take a moment to roll my 1d8 plus 2 to give the heals of 6 to Captain Montigue.
That's the 13. Lucky number 13.
So you may remember this major area. There was a door to the southwest with a small kind of semi-hidden rest area. It's almost like a pantry of sorts, but it's large enough to house the three of you. And then there was a door to the southwest, or the southeast, excuse me, which is where you came in. And then a door to the northeast, which is sort of locked. It's not locked. It's just behind this mud, quicksandy thing that Gillian attempted to step her foot into and couldn't immediately cross.
I wouldn't say she couldn't. I think she chose.
Yeah, that was really more of a correct answer. It was just investigating the area and discovering the problem.
I'm going to look around the room for anything loose.
Loose in what way?
Like a chair or basically anything that's not bolted down.
Oh, there is no shortage of stuff that is not bolted down. There's a lot of tables and chairs that are primarily splinters now, but there's, some of the pieces are large enough that they look as though they were once chairs.
I'm going to start throwing stuff into the quicksand.
Okay. So
just random things.
Wait a minute. You know what? This looks like a fun game for Cat. I love knocking into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am enthusiastically going to join Captain Montague with throwing it into the quicksand. Why not?
Good. This is happening? Okay.
All right, so you're dragging furniture into this quicksand, and it doesn't take long for some of this detritus to reach the bottom of the quicksand pit, and you're starting to lay down tables and things that are a long way, and it gets to a point where after a few minutes of this, you feel confident that as you're testing it out, that it can support the weight of you if you wanted to get over to this door.
All right. I'm going to go to the door.
Yep.
On top of the detriment.
Excellent. All right. You opening it up, that bad boy?
I am going to silently open up
That's
as much.
yeah. All right, sounds good. So you quietly open this up and peek your head in, and you see once again it's another room similar to the one that you were in, but this one, instead of being set up as a kind of a gymnasium wide open dining type area, these are set up a little bit more in cubicles, and there's a lot more. It's like a little miniature. This is probably what you would assume has once been the sleeping quarters. And so there's a lot of just makeshift tarps and things that are up, that are hanging to give privacy. It's making it very difficult to see out into the open room, as you're mostly just seeing tarps and things, but there are pathways that you can walk.
This is an adjoining room. So this area is definitely within the 30-foot area, the 30-foot cone AoE of my prior prayer bursts of energy. Has that ruffled anything in the adjoining area?
That is a good question. No, not that you can tell. There isn't any. Nothing's on high alert, if that's what you're asking.
Well, I mean, anything like undead that would be affected by that would probably be. It's just a curiosity if that's kicked up anything.
Yeah, if that's ruffled any feathers. No, you don't see any evidence of anything like that in this first little series of hallways.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna slowly step in and motion for them to follow.
Okay.
So I'm going to, like a cat, deftly leap upon this structure we've built over the quicksand and pray that it holds my weight. If it doesn't, I will flail wildly and act like I meant to do that. And then, assuming it does,
Or some combination of both.
yeah, or some combination of both, I will slink into the room carefully after Captain Montague on highest alert.
I am also going to follow suit and be pretty darn stealthy about it if I can.
Well, if you all are trying to be stealthy, I think that calls for some stealth rolls from
That
all of
comes
you.
From some stealth and roll.
I think that saying I'd like to be stealthy calls for a stealth roll.
You are not stealthy.
Nope.
I'm stealthier than than the giant half. Yeah, I mean,
The Dark Knight is noisy.
The Dark Knight is noisy. I mean, she's got heavy armor on. What are you going to do?
and she's clambering over a makeshift wooden bridge.
Well, Montague is on point here, and so it is probably the most relevant that he be silent. Montague, as you are making your way around, there is a door off to your right as you're making your way down the sort of main corridor. And as you're passing by, you're seeing other sort of lines of corridors of groups of beds and things that are all well, of what were once beds. They're in about the same condition as those tables and chairs were. There's a door to your right, and as you're making your way down, about 2 or 3 quarters down, you start to hear sounds of more motion, similar in scope to the kind of motion that the zombies were making, but with a slightly different timbre.
I'm just going to be like, and point at them, and hopefully my team actually knows that. Stop! Monsters!
So Montague, as you are standing and sort of telling your teammates to stop, one of the sources of the motion makes itself seen, and it is, I don't know if you know what this kind of monster is, but it's called a lemur, if you've seen any of these lemurs. They are also demonic, devil-y type creatures. They are like they're like rolling globules of flesh. It's just like a compound.
Gross.
Yeah, like you remember Clayface from the Batman the Animated Series. It's just sort of like that, like just a big rolling kind of like a just a pile of skin.
Gross.
And It does not.
Does it have eyes?
Yes, it has eyes and a mouth. And it's got some hands.
So does it look basically like a human muck?
Yeah, it looks like a human muck. That's a good. Well, it used to be human at one point.
He is not a fan of this.
No.
Montigue is not a fan of this either.
Mm-hmm. But you see one of those.
And we hear more noises, not just the one.
Yeah. But as it stands with all of these barriers up, all of these tarps, it's going to be very difficult for you to get a good view because you're not getting an open look of the room.
I don't think my hide from undead spell works for that.
Yeah, it should be noted that which one of you is it? Is it Montigue that's under the? Oh no, it's Gillian.
Gillian is invisible to everything that qualifies as an undead. That is going to be 20 minutes.
Okay.
And that was cast at the very beginning of combat.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she cannot be seen, heard, smelt, or detected. Extraordinary and supernatural sensory capabilities cannot detect or locate her.
Cool.
She's super invisible.
I'm gonna point to the door so the door is this side of it. We don't have to go through it to get to the door, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you would have to sneak past the hallway that it's kind of patrolling and milling about in. But once you got past there, you would be out of its sight to get to this door.
All right. I have an idea. I'm going to cast Flare on its eyes
Okay.
and motion everybody to run to the door.
So that is going to be dazzled for 1 minute unless it makes a successful fortitude saving throw. Oh, that is not going to be successful. So tell us a little bit about what this successful flare spell... So you flash this guy?
Yep. Basically, flash that guy and point to the door and start running.
Okay. So he's just kind of hanging out, chilling, doing his normal thing, and then suddenly it's just boom right in the face. It's got this giant flash of light, and he cries out in a sort of an evil kind of tongue, and is not. He's blinded for the moment, and the three of you run out to this door, and he has not seen you, but he is definitely alerted to something weird in the neighborhood. As you attempt to pull on this door, it is barred, and it sounds like it's barred from the other side.
Oops. I tried. You want to try to this door? Bash it?
Yeah, we have very few precious seconds. I am going to attempt violence.
Okay.
I would like to immediately resort to violence.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have to roll to hit it with a hammer. At what appears to be, its stuck point, basically at or around that.
I have a table for hardness and hit points of objects. If you would like to roll, I'm not gonna. Why don't you just go ahead and roll for damage?
It's a door. If I can't hit it, then what am I doing with my life?
Right.
So I strike it for 3 damage.
Well, that's not gonna be nearly enough. It's you're banging away at this thing with your hammer.
I hit it once.
Oh, you hit it once. Okay, so you bang it with your hammer, boom, and and it rumbles and rattles, and it sounds like it's it got hit, but it's not giving.
I'm gonna look at Gillian Guado and go like, why didn't you?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to get out of the way so that I can just be like, seriously, that thing.
In the freshest few seconds I realize this, I'm going to go and then blink to the side like a kitty.
Sight. Trying to get the exact action that Gillian would be going forward, running forward with sight. Yeah, no, the sight's in the hands. The sight's ready because we were just with the monster.
Mm-hmm.
The other option would be shoulder checking the door, which is going to psyche damage Doom.
All right.
But I think I want to actually throw in a last resort.
Okay. So you're gonna pop our last resort here then?
I'm gonna pop a last resort because there's a hallway full of unknown muck human monster things. So I really want this door to open, which might be horrible. Like, we don't know what's on the other side of it. So this might be a horrible plan of us just like aggroing the entire dungeon. But I'm
Leroy!
Yes.
Okay, so you use your last resort ability. I would love to hear what that looks like, because it's going to be an immediate sort of action.
Yeah, it's going to be just sort of this colder aura, might be the best way to put it, where it just drops a few degrees around the Dark Knight, just this flicker of a shadow passing, and something is now a little bit different about the fact that I am going to cleave the heck out of this door.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, if you're going to attempt to break it with your scythe, that is 2d6 plus 7. Because you're going to have plus 4 to your strength and plus 4 to your constitution temporarily. And minus 2 to your armor class. Heads up, healers. All right, so that is 15 damage. So you, so in my mind, she comes up and she goes bang on the door, and then thinks about it for a second, and just is sort of, oh, sorry, and she kind of steps aside, and Gillian comes through and just wham, and with a shot of your scythe, you do manage to break through the door enough that you're able to reach in and undo the bar that is there's a latch bar that's across that's the bottom of it. You're able to lift that and get the door open, and all three of you can rush in and slam the door behind you if you'd like to get away from this monster.
Slam the door and lock it.
And lock it. Okay. So you slam the door and lock it.
Now we have the monster to face.
Well, the monster that you upset is now on the prowl looking for you. But it might take him a moment to find you. In the meantime, you are in what is clearly the armory. There are a lot of racks of a bunch of weapons and armor, and just various. This is where the local militia would arm themselves before going out into the world around them. Clearly, it didn't help against all of these undead monsters years ago. But here we are.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a look around, and I'm kind of sad right now because I just popped my last cantrip. So I don't have Detect Magic right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I would like to do, though, is I would love to go around and use my skill of appraisal to kind of go through and see if there's anything of extraordinarily good usage for myself or my party members. And that's not my best role.
No, but I mean, you are able to note which items are substantially broken, and immediately discard those. There are still some pretty usable things in here. The most exciting of which, Montigue, if you would like to choose an off-handed weapon for yourself, I think now would be a good time for you to be able to have access to any. I think it's going to be a simple weapon.
Knife or dagger sounds good.
So you can grab one of those. There is also key. You find 300 gold pieces in gems. 300 gold pieces worth of money in gems and precious stones. For Gillian, you see a pretty good, actually a quite good condition scale breastplate. That looks quite good. But before you are able to do anything with it, you start to hear a banging at that door that you just barred.
I find those to be very engrossing for about a half second, and then I get bored of the shiny stuff, and then I give it to Gillian Glado.
Adding to inventory.
I just giving her things. That's kind of my thing.
It's kind of
I'm
her
like,
thing.
this is cool. I'm bored with it now.
That's all right. That's kind of the horde is kind of her stuff.
I just carry all the things.
The lemur is attempting to break this door back down to get it opened up. And as you are hearing the banging, you're hearing the sound of two of them. They're trying to open this up.
I would like to look to see what our other available exits in the room are.
Well, there are no obvious other exits to this room. If you'd like to give me a perception check, we can see if you see anything less than obvious. You do see in the back of the room, there is a section of the wall that looks as though it's supposed to be a portion of the wall, like it's rock, but it is clearly, upon investigation, a false wall that you're able to push open and exit out the back way if you wanted to go out a back way.
I would like to push it open just enough to shove my head through and go and look around.
So yeah, you push it open and you look around, and you are in that very first room next to this destroyed statue of Leviathan by those pressure panels.
Oh. Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah, this apparently was a secret entrance to that room that was used specifically to prevent people who weren't of the know to be able to come in from this way. But if you knew the combination, you could come in from this way on that pressure panel. But you can exit out pretty easily. If you close the door, you won't be able to get back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna slide out and try to encourage my teammates to follow us so that we can close up this door before our path is found.
Okay, so you all head out, back out into the first room, and you slam that false wall behind you just as you hear the door breaking down into the armory from the sleeping quarters. Those lemurs are now trapped, as far as you know, as long as they don't know about this little entrance or can't find it. You are away from them as well now. But you're back out into this first room.
Well, we have a little bit of the dungeon search. Let's continue on.
Forward. Again.
I think Gillian should go first.
Well, I'm all about going first. Are we going through that door again and hopefully back attacking these two human puddles?
Because those were the... Wait.
They're in the room they're in the armory right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, they're in the armory, but they're probably going to come out of the armory as soon as we come into line of sight of them into that room. Unless, was there an angle I missed? Because I thought now they're out of the hallway where we could get by them, so that now they're going to be in our line of sight. Unless I'm turned around.
No, that sounds right. It sounds like they've left those hallways in the sleeping quarters and have entered into the armory because you heard them break in just as you were closing the false wall. And so they're, as far as you know, still in that area.
I'm just saying that I think we're going to have to engage them. I don't think we're going to be able to just sneak by them.
We could try, and then if it fails, we go to battle plan.
Mm-hmm.
Works.
Yeah.
Well,
Sneak the hall or
Sneak the hall.
Sneaking
Let's see if there's any other places to go there.
Excellent. All right, so you head back into the sleeping quarters across this bridge of destroyed picnic tables that you have created, and back into the sleeping quarters, and are now making your way. So you're moving now away from the door. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're really, Gillian.
Way to sneak, Gillian.
I think that we are not sneak. Well, I mean, I'm super.
I am not sneak today. I am all about this like scale breastplate I found and just like calling that around and just being like, not.
Oh, did you grab that scale breastplate?
totally did. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a direction that you're going. Are you going towards the armory door or away from it where they came from?
Away from it. The idea is to sneak away from that or past that so that
Okay.
we can find another way deeper into the dungeon.
Okay, so you're heading up to the north now, in this room, away from that armory door, and you're moving past more of these little bedroom areas, and it appears at first like there's nothing else going on in this room until one of you catches. It's probably going to be key with that roll. The sight of another small door, and this one is a little bit smaller, and it is sort of buried away in the back. And this is, instead of it being, because the whole dungeon is created, as I'm envisioning it, with these giant bone rib cages that are covered up. But it is still outside. Like the ground that you're walking on is still earth. There's no paving or anything like this. But it's pushed up against the sort of side wall up above where the shoreline is, and there's a kind of a like a dirt mound along the back side, and this door has been carved out of this dirt mound, like it's a cave inside. It's almost like a small cave inside this area. It's got also a small door on it, but it doesn't appear to be locked. But it is dark past that room as far as you can tell.
Is it darker than my ability of my low light vision?
It is not.
Okay.
It is darker than my low light vision, which is non-existent.
Which is non-existent.
Right. So I'd like to peek about
Okay.
into the area just a little bit,
Okay.
cautiously. There's a lot of scary things in this dungeon.
So you open the door slightly and peek your way in, and it's quite a scene. There is a medium-sized kind of room, and looking up immediately is what draws your attention towards kind of the ceiling of it, and it's a bit of a high ceiling, but there's a lot more of these fireflies, these black fireflies, and they're all just kind of swirling about and milling about, and they're like will-o-wisps, but they don't have any kind of, as from your interaction with these other fireflies, they don't have any ability to sense you as a creature, but there's dozens of them that are just kind of up in the ceiling and up along the walls and just kind of milling about. This is a room full of these fireflies. You do have some movement in one of the far corners of a couple more zombies that are crawling about and doing theirs. And there's also off kind of to the back of the room a shrouded figure, hooded in a brown cloak and robe, a beastman of sorts, and a beastman that you've never seen before. It is huddled over an area with a bunch of small candles that are arranged on the floor in a very specific, what is to him probably a specific way. He's got his side to you, so you're only getting a bit of a profile look. But as you're looking around, this beastman is doing a sort of like a chanting, it's doing a lot of muttering it to itself, but it's with a monotone kind of sing-song kind of a thing. Like, I don't know if you guys ever go to church and you hear prayers that are sung in just a sort of that Gregorian chant style. It's got a little bit of that timbre to it, but it's nefarious. And it whatever language this thing is speaking, you don't understand it. It turns just very briefly kind of in your direction, and you get more of a sight of it. It's smaller than you would expect it to be, and it's got these golden glowing eyes. In its right hand, it holds a large ceremonial knife, and in its left hand, it raises an oil lantern to see its way.
I think we both put something together at the same time. Close the door.
Now, that is an interesting metagame reaction, but
Gillian Guado told me to close the door. I closed.
I didn't see anything, unfortunately. Gillian Guado didn't see anything.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, this is a scary thing, and I have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, I don't know what this is what you're telling me. Is I definitely don't know what this thing is.
Yeah.
But so I am going to, though, not rush into this situation because this seems bad. There's fireflies, there's zombies, there's this evil monk that's doing bad things. So I am still gonna click just a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of describe in a very whispered, hushed tone to Captain Montigue and Gillian Guado exactly what I have just experienced. I'm gonna be like, so the ceiling with the glowy, the fireflies, which is weird. They're up there. They're not disappearing. Normally they just disappear. They're all there. So this is probably what the evil. This is probably like that room is where it's all coming from. And I'm pretty sure there's like 3 zombies. I'm just gonna say 3 because he's gonna just do that. And she's like, all right. So I'm pretty sure there's like probably like 3 zombies or something. And then there's an evil monkey thing, and it's got a big knife, and it's scary, but it's like Captain Montague size. So maybe it's less scary. I don't know.
Wait a minute. You're saying I'm not scary?
Compared to me.
Gillian, can I get from you, we're going to call it a knowledge local check. I know you don't have that on your sheet, so just give me a 1d20 roll. Ooh.
I will take that after the last.
So, Key's description of all of the 3 of you, you're the only person who would have ever come across something like this creature before. They would exist in the Chaos Continent. You are remembering from your childhood that this unnamed beastman is a concern in Guado Salam. So when your parents took you to Guado Salam, there was a kind of a legend amongst the children as a sort of you know how in Harry Potter it's like stay out of the dark forest, and although everybody all goes to the dark forest every book in Harry Potter,
And you have detention there at night.
there is another sort of childhood thing like that you remember as a kid, that these beastmen were not ever named, but they were known to exist in an area beyond a field of fruit called tonberries. And so it was just told to you that these creatures are very dangerous, and the kids all kind of dared each other to enter the tonberry fields, but nobody ever really had enough bravery to really go out into it. And were it discovered that were to happen, the children would have been quite a bit in trouble. So you remember by its description, this thing. You don't know how dangerous it was, but as a child, you were definitely warned, do not enter the tonberry fields.
Well, it sounds like a creature from my childhood that was a bit of a boogeyman, so it's probably best we not take it on with a bunch of zombies and oozy things also helping it. Not to mention, fireflies like that shouldn't behave like that. I feel like Gillian would know that fireflies, even weird fireflies, because of, like, is Guado Slum sort of firefly headquarters still, or?
Yeah, I would say so. The fireflies, are not normally this dark, and it's got more of a spiritual it's got more of a spiritual connection than anything else. It's sort of this, it's the delivery system according to your town's religions. It is the sort of delivery system by which souls leave this plane and enter into the next plane. And so if any of them were hanging around, they probably are in bad shape in some way.
Yeah. So all of this sounds horrible, and I don't think we should go in that room if we don't have to until we have cleared out everything else.
I want to point out, we were never told we have to clear it out. Just find out what's going on.
Retreat?
I'm not a big fan of boogeymen. Just saying. I mean, it was like, and again, like the chanting creeps me out. Tiny little.
Wait, you never said anything about chanting.
It's doing a thing.
It's definitely talking to itself.
Yeah.
Or the evil fireflies.
Or the evil
Yeah.
fireflies.
There's evil fireflies, and it's chanting. It's probably doing an evil thing.
I say we retreat and go get... Let's go make an army.
An army? Where are we going to get an army?
Or at least a paladin.
And maybe a mage. Even if we don't like him.
Oh. I don't think he's going to do it, but let's try. Anytime I could have a chance to. Yeah.
We're going to turn around and see the muckmen standing behind us.
Actually, you are not going to see the muckmen standing behind you. They are still trying to figure out where they are and where you are.
Yay! Then we're going to sneak back out, not through the armory.
I got the way we came in this time with the rickety bridge across the quicksand.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Then I'm going to make a sneaky roll to tell you how much I make sneakies.
I think you guys are going to be fine exiting out of here without
We'll
any
ignore
trouble.
the roll.
Yeah.
Now, really?
And now Gillian rolls a 20.
I really didn't want that boogeyman to hear me. That's where that was.
Do not enter the Tonberry Fields. Okay. So are you heading back out to the airship and back out to Bastock? Is that what I'm understanding here then?
I do believe that is our plan currently.
Excellent.
Let's get out of here.
I'm pro that.
All right. So that happens. There was nothing standing in the rooms that you just walked through twice, and
30 times.
And now three times, and then out to the airship. You didn't park all that far away, and you haven't been in the dungeon so super long that it's going to be a problem. So you can make your way back to town. Gillian, your scale mail, if you would like to take a look at that, is a masterwork scale mail. So it's going to just be armor is scale, but instead of its armor check penalty being -4, it's going to remain -3. Okay, so you fly your way back into Bastock. Tell me, Captain, you are at the helm. Where are you parking? What's the object?
Well, since I have crew aboard that was going to get off, and they probably don't want to climb down the roof, I'm going to actually park in front of our apartment to let them off.
Okay.
Okay.
And once they're off, I'm going to park on top of the roof again.
Okay. That works. And you shimmy your way down. Where's the party headed now?
I always love and to go bother, talk to our good friends.
Mid Orem.
Ooh, yeah, mid. Wow, sorry, my brain just went click break. So anyways, yeah, let's wait, what time is it game time?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. It's probably getting very, very late. It was a long flight there, and it's a long flight back. I imagine you probably flew through the night and have landed sometime in just past midnight.
Yeah, then there's no way we're gonna be
Okay, yeah, we should probably hit the bed.
Okay. But in the morning,
Oh,
you
in
can.
the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we'll assume that we all go to bed. We have a great one. and
Right.
I go in, do my spells, do my
Yep.
prayers, spend some time. Anyways, fast forward. Moving on. So after having a nice long prayer and taking a little bit of extra time in the morning to ask for protection, I wait for my teammates, gather them up, and we head right into City Hall. And of course, at this point, they're probably used to watching us just wander off into mid-study.
Yeah.
And I doubt anyone's actually going to stop someone from wandering into mid-study,
Oh no.
because I don't think anyone does that voluntarily.
No, and this is an area of the city in which it's expected that customers are going to be milling about and going to different desks that they need to be going to. It's assumed that you know exactly where you're supposed to be going, clearly by the fact that they don't help you out with any signs or anything.
Right. So I am going to wander right into Mid's office and see what our bestest friend is up to.
He is reading one book while simultaneously writing in another and has not noticed you enter into the room.
What? No.
That guy, it's almost like he's a scholar and places reading and writing above everything else.
Yes. So I am more than happy to walk right up. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to take a moment to peer up over his book and start reading what he's reading, and then read what he's writing, and then read what he's reading, and then kitty all over everything.
Well,
Hey, man.
well,
And he's just like,
While Key's doing this, I'm gonna actually pick a book off a shelf and start reading it. Just random book.
So just random book is a study on the effects of a speak with animals potion on squirrels and rats in the area surrounding Jugner Forest, far to the south. And it's a fairly boring book, but apparently there's an entire culture of squirrels and rats. If you get to know them and you ask them a lot of questions, they've got a story or two to tell, right? If these squirrels could talk,
All right.
they would tell some stories. Mid is not excited about this new existence of a cat all over his work, and he oh, come on now.
I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? I'm his best friend right now.
Let's act with a little bit of regard for the knowledge, thank you.
Oh, of course, man. This is all for the knowledge. And so I do get off of his stuff and then bat all over it to, clean it. And by batting to clean it, I kind of bat at it to clean it. Probably knock some stuff over. But I'm just trying to help.
Did he help?
Yeah, so we went to the place with the stuff for you. We went to the place you wanted us to check out.
Oh, okay. What'd you find out?
So we found out that it's full of evil and death and zombies and big ugly mucky things. And the thing is when you kill the zombies, they turned into fireflies, like the imps did in the cave you sent us to.
Okay.
That seems awfully weird, especially because they're these dark fireflies, not normal fireflies. And then, of course, I recant the hidden rooms, all the armor, stuff he doesn't care about. But I do make sure to inform him of every little thing we did, including throwing stuff into the tiles for the puzzle we never figured out. And then, of course, I get finally to the final room that we poked in, the ceiling, the fireflies, dark fireflies swirling around, not dissipating, acting weird, the zombies. And then, of course, I tell him about the boogeyman from behind the tawns. And then I was like, so that's what we know.
Great. You are not going to bore this man with
Right.
with details, right? Like this man exists on details.
I essentially recap because I trying to again just kill him with
Yeah.
that I recant every detail that Key can bring forward, and then we'll even bother to jump back in the story if I remember a detail. Like I give him the good hour-long explanation of a 30-minute journey.
You are replenishing his electrolytes with each bit of this information. He's very in tune with this, and he's not frustrated at all. He's excited to hear all of these stories, and he says, "Okay, well, here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that dark pyreflies, much like regular pyreflies, are in existence, and that it doesn't surprise me if some form of necromancer was using these dark pyreflies to animate corpses. It sounds like the corpses that you were fighting, the imps that you fought earlier, these fleshy monsters that you were telling me about, probably all once at one point dead or in some form or fashion demonic, are assembled and given sort of you can think of all of these creatures as empty vessels, and the pyreflies is what fills them. That's not really how science works, but you can fake it with this sort of necromantic magic, and that's how you make a zombie. When a man and a woman love each other very much and then die, they can be reanimated by these pyreflies. So that doesn't surprise me. This necromancer that you're telling me about is very interesting, this beast man, and that I'm curious, Gillian, the Dark Knight. So Key tells me that you have some experience with these beastmen. Is that right?
Well, there was the Tonberry Fields in Guao Slum that we weren't supposed to cross, and on the other side of it were these creatures like what was in that room, basically the weird lantern and the knife. It sounds like those creatures on the other side of the Tonberry Fields.
Okay, well, I don't know what these Tonberry creatures are, but I do know that I got a similar report back from that paladin from when I sent her to the Temple of Vugalepa, and it doesn't surprise. I guess it would stand to reason that if this culture is interested in reanimating the dead and flooding the area with demons and devils, that they would have some reason to do so. We still don't know the reason why they're doing it, but at least now we know the kinds of creatures that we are dealing with.
And so this is when Key pops up and kind of goes, you know what, man? I bet this is the kind of thing that if you were to go confront this creature and check out this necromantic thing, I bet there's a lot that you could learn from it.
That is very, very funny, Key. I think that you are, you're so boisterous and full of energy all the time, and I think that your enthusiasm for a joke is enviable, and I applaud you for that.
But she brings up a point. You can get better first-hand knowledge.
The day I walk in to some accursed graveyard tomb inhabited by creatures of the damned is the day this kitty cat plays a match of blitzball. Now,
actually, I would want to see that.
Kitty cats don't like water, as far as I know. So that's not happening. But I need to do some research on these beastmen from the Tonberry Fields. If you give me a few days, I should be able to contact some of my associates who are in various areas of the world. I have very good friends out in the ancient library in Daguerro. They have more resources than I have here, but I like to think that I have more books per capita since it is just me. But the Ancient Library is incredibly impressive. I will send a message out via Mognet and see if anybody can give us any more info on this. Might even contact Guado Salam if that's where Gillian is from and has found these creatures. So, good to know. Maybe I'll also go talk with that paladin too, again. It's been a little while. But okay. Good work, team. I will get back to you in a few days after I do some more studying. Maybe we can shed some more light on this mystery.
All right.
Can I ask you an odd question?
There is no such thing as an odd question.
Well, we know of the four stones. The earth, the fire, the water, and the air.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there no more?
Why are there no more? I suppose all it takes for a planet to exist would be four elements: fire, wind, water, and earth. There isn't really anything else that would cause a planet to be a planet. And when this planet was created, it was created by those four stones and is...
Well, what about light?
Well, light and darkness are reactionary things. They're not core elements. They're made of parts of the other ones combined. Light and darkness is unrelated to any of that. I just think that there's nothing else that would be a part of a planet. I mean, can you think of anything else that would be a part of a planet?
Key vehemently is like, nope, can't think of a single thing.
No, you're right.
Okay. Yeah.
As always.
Is this true? All right. Well, that's all I have, team.
So I'm gonna pull the random blue potion out of my bag at this point, because alchemist. So Mid, you know what this is?
He grabs it from you, and he says, "Give me a second." And he goes back over to. He's got a bit of an alembic. I think that he was over earlier when he was making for you your potions of mini.
Yes.
And he's got, he takes just a few drops of it, of the potion, and puts it in a kind of one of the tourniquet? The thing that spins around in a circle really fast to separate the elements from its other... Centrifuge, thank you. I knew it wasn't tourniquet. I'm like, that's holdover from Basil E. Barker from our group's game. So he puts it in like a little mechanical centrifuge that moves around in circles very quickly, and as it breaks apart, he's able to sort of smell and taste the base elements. And he comes back and he gives you back the potion, and he says, "Speak with animals."
Speak with animals. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna look at him and go, "Hey, we could go visit some squirrels."
He says, "That's a fun book to read. That's actually, you'd be surprised. The rats have an entire culture. They have like and he goes on a tangent, like he goes on a roll, and he starts talking about, they've got like a king and they got a queen, and there's like a whole thing, and he's just going on a little bit of a roll with that."
He's like, "Oh," and Montague's like, "Oh," and then when he goes to put the book back, instead of actually putting it back, he just puts it on top of where it would go.
Okay. You would think that would bother him, but if you look around this place, he's got books pulled out from all over the place. I think if you rearranged the entire library, it would take him a week to figure it out.
So, even though we've all failed to troll Mid, he has decided we did get a bunch of really good information.
Yes.
And decides to take in stride and head out.
All right. So he's going to contact some people via Mognet, and he'll get back to you in a few days. What would you like to do now?
I would like to, I recommend to my team as we wander out back into the bustling streets of Bastoke on a day. It's probably pretty quiet except for off in that area.
Mhm.
I was like, so technically, I think that was a success. I think we had a victory there. I think
We
should
got out
go.
alive. That's all we really needed to do.
I think we should go to the pub and celebrate and talk about our next actions.
Not gonna get a disagreement from Montague on that.
Yeah, I figured that's the get, and I also figured the planning might get Gillian Guado involved.
Mm-hmm.
So we go off into whatever pub is not too busy. We're looking for a place that has kind of a table in the back where we can kind of do our planning and talking without any interruption, other than the occasional waitress
Yeah.
who might slug a drink or a plate of something delicious.
Well, it is a work day, and the Steaming Sheep Inn, it's because it's so early in the morning, most of everybody is going to be at work. That's actually just as good a place as any. You can find a table sort of in the back area. And as if you walk into there, it's pretty uninhabited other than the people who are working there. There's maybe a couple of people around, but you can get far enough away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it being a work day, not a whole lot of people in the pub.
Awesome. So of course we take our table and
They have chowder today.
oh,
It's Friday.
he as normal is a bit lost by the menu, but orders something that sounds somewhat familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And the lightest ale possible. He's not a big drinker, but everyone in these kind of ages will put back something. And after we all put in our orders,
Mm-hmm.
all right. And after we all put in our orders, he kind of leans in and she's like, "All right, team. What do we know? Mid is, yeah.
Annoying.
We have, well, yeah.
He's a scholar. It's just how they are.
We have our friend in the cave we need to help out. We don't know the what, and I'm not even sure we know the why yet, but we definitely know we got to do something. So I'm willing to bet that Mid's troubles and those imps and the necromancers and the demons, it's got to be they got to be involved, because otherwise why would the imps be in the cave? And I think it's fate. Alexander sent us this so that we could do these things. The key's kind of falling apart on this. But so I mean, like, what should we do next? Like, what's our next? Where are we going with this, guys?
Right now, we need to wait. So what we might as well do, we're out of the missives we've done so far. Why don't we do the next missive on the? Let's just do our job for now. We gotta wait for Mid to come back. We need more information on what's going on.
Key makes a various assortment of faces, all in cat. And then she kind of flops over the table a little bit with who hasn't showed up yet. She's like, you know what? Whenever I'm lost, I pray. So I think you're right. We should do what we know is best for us. But we should make sure to keep our eyes out.
Yes.
Gillian, do you think that's the best case?
Sounds like a solid plan.
All right, so wait for Mid's information. Careful with the questions, Captain. I think Mid's... Listen, he's something, but he's also smart, and I'm really sure everything you say around him, he's going to write down.
Probably. That's why I actually didn't describe our friend.
Okay. Yeah.
and went with the opposite of our friend.
Gosh, I'd be sad if he was a little more clever. Which, of course, is some sideways shade.
Mhm.
Like, it's not even.
Mhm.
Okay.
In the meantime, we should relax for today and start on the missives tomorrow.
Key agrees to that, and looks to Gillian.
I'll be a pushover.
And on that note, the captain casts Cloudy Haze on himself.
All right, so then I guess that's the rest of our day right there.
I'm curious if at any point you guys head back to. Well, I guess at some point you're going to head back to your apartment, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to head back to your apartment, and once you get there, whenever that is during the course of the day, there as you walk in, somebody has pushed a letter through the mail slot.
Ooh, I like letters.
Nail!
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is it from the Franken goat?
It is immediately clear to Key as soon as you walk in. Like, you don't even have to take a look at the signet on it. You can smell it. It's from your mother.
he is immediately less excited about mail. Key decides instead of taking the mail from the mail slot, she's gonna bat at it a little bit, and then she's gonna bat at it some more. She's probably just gonna keep batting at it for a little while.
All right.
And Montague's just going to be watching it.
Taking the mail and just walking over to the table and putting it on the table, waiting patiently to see if this is something I need to like stab with a scythe.
Kia's gonna look to Xilianr and kind of like like maybe you should just stab it with a scythe, but eventually Ki wanders around the table a little while, kind of staring at it, kind of making noises, and then she eventually sits down defeatedly
Okay.
and opens the letter.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting that, but there you are. So for those of you viewers who are at home watching this on YouTube, I have just slid into Key's PMs, into her DMs, this letter that her mother has sent, and she can do what she wants with it.
Yeah. Because I open it up, just kind of verify, and I read like the first little bit of it, and then I close it up, and I'm just like, and Key just kind of has a thing. She doesn't read the whole thing in front of her coworkers, because of course that's not great. But she does kind of verify that it is exactly what she thought it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you saw the signet. It's got a wax seal with a signet impression. You knew it was your family, the House Mihgo.
Yeah, Key was. Yeah, she's doing the thing. Key.
I mean, if you'd like, we can fade to black here if you'd like, or we can move around.
So what happens is, you remember when Xilianr was taking down the door, and there was this great shift, and there was this dark shadow that kind of blurred, and then like everything went cold. So I want you to imagine that Dark Knight ability, but instead of like cool superpowers, just a great cloud of depression settles over Key, and like she's just like unhappy kitty, kind of like what happened in the crystal chamber, like times like 30.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so Key eventually slinks off into her room to go read her letter. And the word slinking really kind of fits.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, I think that letter was from the crystal, and I think it did that thing again.
Maybe it was from whatever the crystal showed.
That's more reasonable.
Gillian, I'm curious before we sign off for today, if anything, has become of your new friend Junxao? Now that
Junxao has been allowed to hang out in the space that is my quarters full of empty things, which are boxes mostly, by a small Gimme Cat's perspective. And I'm planning on getting various things to make sure he's happy. But for the most part, I've set up a nice little world for him to knock over all of my things in constructive, predictable ways.
Oh yeah, I mean your room specifically is entirely drawers and boxes and crates and things for cats to get in behind and on top of and inside of and sleep and dash about. Yeah, I mean, he's pleased with this new situation. I don't know what your plans are when you are not at home, but he's pretty pleased for the moment.
I'm playing it by ear right now.
Sure.
And Montague still knows nothing of this cat.
Well, with that, everyone, thank you very much for joining us on this adventure. This is going to complete our episode for the day. We are happy that you could come along and be with us. We hope that you are enjoying the storytelling of the four of us together. We continue to make improvements not only to our channel, but also to our ability to play this game. And we appreciate your fervor at watching us grow. And we hope to invite you back the next time here on the Limit Break channel for Final Fantasy Crystal Legend. I will also, before I send you the audience away, I will say one more thing to the team, because I want the audience to know this as well, which is before the four of us meet back next Wednesday to do our gameplay, I would like all of you to level your characters to level 3.
Woo!
So when they come back, they will have all brand new abilities and some spells, and level 3 is an odd number, so they get a feat, a brand new feat at an odd level. So I will help them do some of that today. But until next time, my name is Neil. On behalf of Key, Montague, and Gillian, we wish you the best of health and be good to each other.
Bye!